Summer, yeah, it's supposed to be quiet. But when the world is in shambles, we need to make some noise. So first of all, let's make some noise for these people here. Let me hear you. Ancestors at our backs. I'm Rabbi Michelle Dardashti, and I come here today with my Eastern European ancestors on my back and also my Iranian ancestors at my back. My father's an immigrant from Iran. My family on both sides knows what it means to have to get out, to have to leave, to be safe. We've got generations forward. I'm a rabbi on a college campus. I'm looking forward. And it's scary. Never again, paranadye. בכל דור ודור חייב האדם לראות את עצמו כאילו. Anyone know it? Hu yatsa? In every generation, an individual needs to see themselves as though they personally came out of Egypt. We've got ancestors at our backs. We've got generations forward. Never again, paranadye. Each year on Tisha B'Av, Jews gather to chant the scroll of Eicha, Lamentations, that vividly and excruciating language describes the terror of mothers eating their own children for lack of food, babies with nothing to eat. It tells of what happens in the wake of the destruction of the first and second temples in Jerusalem. We fast on Tisha B'Av, recalling our ancestors' exile and generations of forced migration, torment, and scorn. And this past Sunday, hundreds of American Jews from coast to coast also came out to mark the day also by loudly lamenting and protesting the policies of our current government that are endangering, abusing, incarcerating, and deporting immigrants and refugees today seeking safety. Jewish holidays are generally built around experiences of oppression followed by miraculous redemption. Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, this holiday that we just had on Sunday, it's an exception to this. It's a holiday where we commemorate destruction and exile, and we leave the feeling of loss unresolved. Perhaps because it is. We live in a world that needs tremendous mending. Tisha B'Av shines a light on that. And it ends with us sitting in the ashes of destruction, our world burned down. But the Jewish calendar does not, my friends, it does not leave us there. Once Tisha B'Av is past, we move from our 3 weeks of rebuke and mourning into 7 weeks of consolation. They're called Sheva D'Nechemta. And these 7 weeks carry us into the embrace of Rosh Hashanah, the new year, literally the head of change that comes with a promise, or at least the potential, for redemption. And on each of the 7 Shabbatot, each of these 7 weeks, we read from Isaiah. We read from the book of Isaiah messages of hope and of faith. This coming Shabbat actually is the most famous. It's called Shabbat Nachamu, Shabbat of comfort or consolation. It takes that name, Shabbat Nachamu, from the first words of the reading in the Haftarah that says, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami. Comfort. Comfort, my people. Nechemta, comfort and consolation, compassion, is what this post-Tisha B'Av period offers. And it's what I believe, at least in a big part, we've come here to offer as well. Compassion literally means to suffer together. It's defined as the feeling that arises when you're confronted by another's suffering and you feel motivated to alleviate it. So yes, we're here today to protest. And that protest comes first and foremost through our presence. Let those inside hear us again. Let them hear us here. Also to act. And one of our most powerful forms of action, of service, in Hebrew, avodah, is prayer. In Hebrew it's called avodah shebalev, service or labor of the heart. Prayer comes to be called avodah, service or work, because it replaces the avodah, the labor of the high priest in the temple. With the destruction of the temple that we are specifically commemorating right now, we are in the ashes of that destruction right now. With that destruction, we all, my friends, we all become kohanim. We all become priests. And the service, the avodah, the prayers of each of us become vital. So we're going to pray right now together. We're going to pray together Birkat Kohanim, the priestly blessing, which also happens to be the prayer recited by parents on the heads of their children on Shabbat. It's a three-part prayer, okay? So listen up, because you're going to have to really generate these prayers through your hands as I recite them in Hebrew and in Spanish in a moment, okay? But the three parts, the first one is about physical protection. The second part is a prayer for light and grace. And the third piece is for the experience of being seen and at peace. So as I recite the Hebrew and the Spanish, I invite you to please raise up your hands the way that the Kohanim, the priests, used to do. Raise up your hands and raise them towards these incredible faces that we see in the windows. Raise up your hands and generate every blessing that you have for them in the genres of physical protection, in the genres of light and grace, and of being seen and at peace. And also, as you're raising up your hand, raise up your amens after I finish each part. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Dios te bendiga y te guarde. Amén. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Dios te ilumine con su presencia y te agracie. Amén. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Dios se torne hacia ti y te conceda la paz. Amen. Just as the Jewish calendar does not abandon us, just as it consoles us and marches us lovingly towards redemption, we will not abandon our detained, refuge-seeking family currently dwelling in ashes. We, Jewish citizens of this country, We who invoke leaving Egypt and recall redemption in every prayer we say, we cannot rest now. As the Bible and Ella Baker teach, we who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes, and we do not know how far off the promised land is, my friends. But we will march there together. We're going to hear now from an instrument that carries us through this march, that carries us through the wilderness. It's going to carry us through the last 4 weeks leading up to Rosh Hashanah. The last of these 7 weeks is marked every day by the sound of a shofar, of a ram's horn that symbolizes mercy, that symbolizes the ways that wholeness and brokenness are inches from one another. And it symbolizes an alarm to awaken us to what we should be doing to make the world better, to awaken us to righteousness and to justice. As we hear this shofar right now blown by incredible justice seekers and rabbis, allow it to be the scream that contains your outrage and that contains your love.